Hello, and welcome to Nookcast News, a journalism channel where we discuss the latest developments in the world of Nintendo and video games as a whole. Today, we are discussing the absolute absurd collaboration that is Pokemon times the Van Gogh Museum. So the Vincent Van Gogh Museum is located in Amsterdam, and this week they announced, of all things, a collaboration with Pokemon. They did this with a video of Pikachu and Eevee being turned into works of art. It's a really weird concept, taking a massive video game franchise and putting it in an art museum, because the world of video games is not traditionally seen as a particularly high-end or a field that's worthy of much academic or rigorous intellectual study. So to take something like Pokemon and use its notoriety to get guests into the Van Gogh Museum seems like a very odd marketing move. Now, why might this be? The Vincent Van Gogh Museum is a very popular attraction, so clearly this isn't out of a desperate need to entice guests into their museum. So what is it for? I mean, it's anyone's guess, but I would say that Pokemon's growing relevancy across the world may draw tourists who are from backgrounds that don't traditionally love art, such as children or certain cultures, and draws them in so that they can learn to appreciate the art of Vincent van Gogh in an easily accessible way. So the exhibition itself is taken over the whole first floor of the museum, and it involves famous Van Gogh paintings being replaced with paintings which incorporate Pokemon. So for instance, Vincent van Gogh's famous Sunflower will include Sunflora Pokemon. Now, you could argue that this is kind of tokenistic and that the artworks are just nothing more than a kind of cash grab on both Pokemon and the Vincent van Gogh Museum's part. But I would counter that by saying it really depends on what the exhibition is like. So we don't know that it's necessarily poorly made artworks. They may be artworks that have had hundreds of hours toiled over them by independent artists. So really, we need more information about this exhibition to make an informed decision about it. But the point still stands that this is an extremely odd marketing move. Pokemon have done a lot of collaborations in the past, but this definitely seems the most absurd. And it opens other theories as to where the Pokemon world might go next. For instance, will it branch out into other forms of art, like maybe there'll be a Pokemon exhibition with old classic films, or maybe they'll collaborate with a famous book franchise or the Natural History Museum. Really, it's anyone's guess. I would think that Pokemon have grown so much as a brand that now they can almost make fans crazy about anything that they touch their fingers on. And with that in mind, it does make sense as to why the Vincent van Gogh Museum are incentivized to want this kind of thing to happen, because if I were them, I would be saying, how do I get new people into my museum? How do I make an event that is interesting to fans who aren't going to be interested in artwork in the same way that art fanatics are? And this is the perfect move for that. So in conclusion, I would say that while it initially seems absolutely absurd, a collaboration between the Vincent van Gogh Museum and Pokemon, I would say if you think about it from a business perspective, it makes a lot more sense than you think. And already there's a lot of stories about how the Pokemon merchandise from this exhibition is getting sold by scalpers. I think that's a clear indicator of how popular Pokemon is and how successful these kind of collaborations can become. So, yeah, while it's absurd, I'm not particularly surprised once I think about it. That's it for this edition of Nookcast News. I hope you tune in next time for more exciting commentary.